YouTube, the world's largest video sharing platform, founded by three former PayPal employees, Chad Hurley, Steve Chen, and Jawed Karim in February 2005. It was bought over by Google in November 2016. The platform has experienced unprecedented growth since then, such that Alexa.com listed it as one of the top 3 sites for a number of years. YouTube has given content creators and producers an opportunity to earn from their work, and it is encouraging more Nigerians to actually create local content. Teju Ajani, YouTube's head of content partnerships for Sub-Saharan Africa, joins us to discuss how more Nigerians can take advantage of this platform.
What is YouTube's strategy for Africa?
YouTube's strategy for Africa is growth, growth, growth. The focus is to grow as many creators on the platform as possible and to make sure that they can take advantage of all the opportunities that we have available to creators on the platform.
So from what you see, how is Nigeria vis-a-vis South Africa doing?
I would say both are doing extremely well. Nigeria, obviously, we have, I think the data challenges are a little bit more in Nigeria, and so we were starting from a lower base to begin with. But right now, I tell you what, though, the percentage growth is amazing year over year. We're growing over 120% year over year in terms of creator content and in terms of watch time. And not to say that South Africa is not growing, by the way. South Africa is an extremely strong market for YouTube in Sub-Saharan Africa.
Yeah, but considering our population, how many Nigerians are watching videos on YouTube today?
The numbers are growing year over year of Nigerians watching content, and the amount of content watched is growing over 100% year over year.
Let's look at all the content categories. What categories are the hottest today?
Well, categories change, right? So you have entertainment, you have music that are very popular, and entertainment, very popular. You have news is a close third. Of course, in Nigeria, fashion, lifestyle, you know, that kind of content is really popular as well. Sports is very interesting because we do have sports as a strong category in Nigeria. We consume a lot of foreign sports. Everybody, I mean, it's reflective of, you know, the fandom that exists in Nigeria. The Man U, the Arsenal fans, all that are still watching their content from Nigeria as well. So, yeah, those are the categories.
So, but what do you think we can do to increase the other categories? Let's say education, health. What can we do about that?
So the one thing you need to remember about online video is that, again, users flock to it because it's not like traditional media. The messaging that people are trying to get out in video has to be in a way that can relate and connect to me. Again, you know, we're talking about online video here, so I'm sitting there and my fingertips are at the keyboard. If that content is not engaging me in the first 5 seconds, 10 seconds, I move off. So you have to make sure that the content is engaging. You have to make sure that that content is not only engaging but also relevant to me. You know, there's no point telling me about a health issue that doesn't exist in Nigeria, you know, just for informational purposes. I might watch it, but chances are I'll watch something that I might contact or I might get in Nigeria much more readily. So for any piece of content that's getting created, you need to make sure A, it is engaging, B, it carries a message. And when I say engaging, people think, oh, it has to be funny. It doesn't have to be funny, but it has to be done in a way that is attractive. It's just like any new product you're putting out there. You have to brand it, you have to market it, you have to do all that. So thinking about that in terms of thinking about your content in those terms, right, is really helpful to say, okay, if I'm creating this content, what will make, in this content that I'm creating, what will make the person that's watching this talk about it? What will make them share it? What will make them like it? What will make them come back to me for more? Right? Those are just a few tips for creating engaging content. And I think that if we take serious topics and break it down into small consumable bits that people, small consumable bits that people can connect with, that it makes a big difference. So even if the topic, like you said, is health, education, you know, if you want boring education, you can go stand in any classroom with any lecturer just going on and on for hours. But if you try to teach me, okay, how do I X, and you make it interesting, and you make it short and consumable, then chances are that I'll engage and watch it and be like, okay, that was a good experience, I'll come back for more.
So the shorter the videos, the better?
Not necessarily, depends on the subject, right? But you just need to make sure it's appropriate for the message you're trying to convey.
Have you seen any sort of appreciation for animated content in this part of the world?
Absolutely. So there are a couple channels that actually come to mind immediately. You said that. There's one video that actually was shared with me by someone called, I think it was Ajabo Tunes. and it was the two kids, Ajebo versus Paco, and they were going over old nursery rhymes, and they, you know, they were bouncing off, basically riffing off each other. And it was very funny because for a lot of people, it was nostalgic. It brought back memories of childhood and all that. But that's one example. There's a lot more. But there's another video on YouTube from a Nigerian creator that was about the police harassing this guy, and this guy was talking, you know, in his either US accent or something like that. And then, you know, the guy smacked him, and then he broke out in pidgin. You know, and it was, again, very funny, very interesting. There are a couple other creators in South Africa as well who are doing amazing things with animation. And just across the region in general, there are creators who are engaging in animation. It's not so much so widespread yet, but it's definitely growing as a segment. And people are finding out that it's easy to use animation to convey messages that are beyond just cartoons for kids. You know, you can handle a serious issue, but it doesn't seem so threatening because it's animated. And we're seeing that on YouTube as well.
Each time you check the YouTube app, there is this trending like fire sign. What's the idea behind that particular feature?
The idea is that people are interested in what other people are watching, right? So if I see something trending, I want to know, because there's immediacy of news and there's immediacy of opportunity and what's happening in the region. So I don't want to be left out. FOMO, fear of missing out, right, is something that a lot of people have, and people don't want to be left out. So we made it possible for them to have that via the trends graph.
What would be your top tips for new content creators?
My one tip for new content creators is to go online to the YouTube Creator Academy and go through the lessons and learn there, because there you have all the tips and tricks that people have leveraged to succeed on YouTube. And we're talking people who have succeeded in, you know, the thousands and millions of subscribers, thousands and millions of watch time, thousands and millions of hours of content that they've uploaded. So go to the YouTube Creator Academy. You don't have to download anything. The videos are there in short formats, you know, like 5 minutes, 10 minutes at the max, to watch, to teach you something. And it contains information from all the way from a newbie who, how do I position my shot on my mobile device, to someone who's doing full production, to people who are thinking about content strategy. Like, it contains all that information available for people to learn from.
So if I create video, for example, who owns, and I put it on YouTube, who owns the content?
You do.
So I can put it anywhere else I like?
Yes. So anytime you upload content to YouTube, the content remains yours. You're the rights holder. We never take hold of your content. You can take it down at any time you want. You can upload content anytime you want and take it down anytime you want. It always belongs to you. It's free for you to do whatever you want to do with. That is a very, very distinct message that I have to make sure that every single person that's listening to this gets. Because people ask all the time, who owns the content? I'm afraid to put it up because then it no longer is mine. It's yours. If it's yours to begin with, it's always yours from the platform.
Thank you for being on Tech Trends today, Daddy.
Thank you for having me.
One thing is clear. Africa should stop being more of great content consumers, but also work hard to develop various types of content and not just entertainment, so as to ensure a balance. We've come to the end of today's show, but the conversation continues online. Please join us there. Remember, you can watch these and previous editions of the show on the Channels TV YouTube account or via my blog cfatech.ng. For Tech Trends, I'm Chukwemeka Agbata.